Now, can you crochet with your eyes closed? Of course you can, and I'm here to show you how. First of all, in this speech, we will discuss tips about the types of yarn to use and the hooks and which hooks go better with which yarns. Second of all, I will show you how to crochet a small swatch using a half double crochet. And third of all, I will give you some tips where you can find patterns and other crochet instructions to make crochet stitches. And I will also show you the finished product. First of all, let's discuss the different types of yarns you can use. You can use thinner yarns like this, or you can use a thicker yarn, which is called a worsted weight yarn. There are several different thicknesses and different types of yarns. However, it's up to you which one you use. But as yarns vary in different sizes, according to Crochet Your Way by Gloria Tracy, 2000, which was published in 2000, it's best to use a yarn appropriate to the size of the hook that you're going to use. For example, if you're going to use a bigger hook, you need a thicker yarn, such as a worsted weight, or even sometimes you might want to use homespun. But then again, and with a smaller yarn, you might want to use a smaller hook. Hooks vary in sizes from A1 to J9, I do believe. I'm not exactly sure of the approximate sizes, because sizes vary so much. Personally, I have 10 different hooks of various sizes. But that doesn't mean you have to get those particular, all different sizes. But when you do a pattern, make sure that you check your materials to make sure you have, and also make small swatches and measure them to make sure you have the approximate gauge for the project you're working on. Alright, now that we've covered, the tips about yarns and hooks, I would like to show you how to make a small swatch using a smaller yarn using the half double crochet. This is a smaller yarn, therefore I have a smaller hook. First of all, before we even start crocheting, we need to make a slip knot. Now, I learned this from a knitting book because I was knitting before I even started learning how to crochet. And by the way, I'm totally blind. That's why I say you can certainly crochet with your eyes closed or even while you're watching TV. But anyway, back to my slip knot. You can put this around one finger or you can do it around two. I prefer to make a one finger slip knot because I don't like a very long tail. So what you do is you wrap the yarn around your finger like this. Then you take the yarn off your finger, hold on to your loop, pull the end that goes toward your ball of yarn through that loop and pull the tail so that it's taut but not too tight. And I'm going to have a bit longer tail than I want, but anyway, just for the sake of the example. Now you put your yarn on your hook like so and pull it taut, like I said, but not too so tight that you can't work with it. Now, I'm going to show you something. You think, well, okay, we got to start out with a regular chain. However, alright, I'm going to show you how to do with a half double crochet, how you can do your chain and your first row all together. First of all, you make 2 chains, you yarn over, pull your loop, your slip knot loop through, and what I'm doing is I pull the loop, the hook with the loop on it through the loop with the slip knot, but I guide it with the left hand instead of holding the crochet hook down here and trying to do it by hook alone, by the eye of the hook alone. That doesn't work for me, and that won't work if you're not watching what you're doing. So that's why you want to do it like this. You want to hold your fingers down toward the end of the hook and guide the yarn with your left hand. Use your left hand to guide it. And also, you can feel underneath to see, where your stitch is. Now you do your second chain just the same way. Now, here is something a little different. You don't pull this taut. This is with a half double crochet. I'm going to show you something. On your third chain, you yarn over, but you put your hook through the loop that you just chained, okay? And then you yarn over, and you pull all 3 loops using the hook to pull the yarn through, but using your hand to hold the loops in place and guide it. You pull all your yarn through your loops like this. Alright, and you do that with the third, and you grab the third loop, the outermost, I can get it here, the outermost loop. It's not wanting to cooperate with me right now, but I got it. Your outermost loop, and you pull it, put it through, and you continue to do that. And we're going to do, say, 10 chains, like that, and then you pull like that. And then, oops, I don't know if I did that right. Alright, well, you continue to do it as long as, to make it as wide as you want. And then once you do that, and this is going to be a little longer than, once you make all your chains, then you're going to start your double crochet. You're always going to chain 2 at the end of your row. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But again, you want to start by doing 2 chains. This is just a small thing here. Make 2 chains at the end of your row. Okay? Now you find where your stitches, not the end where your chain, where the chain would be, the 1 loop. You want to find where the 2 loops come together. Okay. My impromptu demonstration here. You want to find where the 2 loops come together. Let's take it up here. And yarn over with your half double crochet, put it through, and pull through the 2 stitch loops. Oops, that didn't work out right. Let me try that again. Alright. Half double crochet, you yarn over, put it through the loops, the 2 stitches, the top stitch. And then you pull it, you yarn through your stitch and guide it with your left hand. Always guide with your left hand. Then you pull the 3 loops that are still on your hook, pull the yarn over and pull it through those 3 loops, and you continue that way to the end of your row. Always chain 2 at the end of the row to start a new row. That is basically how you would do the half double crochet. Now I'm going to actually show you the finished product. You can do a border at the end of it. I'll show, like I said, I will show you the finished product now. And here is a shawl that I made for my mother for Christmas. This is what if you're using a worsted weight yarn, it's easier to feel. Sometimes you can use a smaller yarn and you would be fine, but if you're using a worsted weight yarn like this is easy to feel, and that's why I do a half double crochet. Now another tip I want to give you is if you're not sure whether your your work is straight, you can always glance down, but of course if you're watching TV, you're not going to want to do that, or if you can't see, like myself, you want to fold it either in half or just fold it down a certain length, like this, and always feel to see where you're not straight. And if you feel a spot, well, I've got the border on this, but say you feel a stitch that's not straight, always feel where the stitch started curving, because when you do that you can tell where the row started kind of curving inward or outward. And that's why I like the half double crochet, because you can always feel where my row started veering off to one side or the other, and I have to unravel and do it all over again. But that's one way that you can check for straightness in your piece. Now, I have talked to you about yarns, hooks, the type of hook to use with what yarn, and I've also shown you how to do a simple half double crochet stitch. If you want to learn more about stitches and patterns, visit the Crochet Knitting Pattern Central at Crochet Pattern Central. At www.crochetpatternCentral.com. You can also find out how to do different stitches and find different patterns in the Crochet Your Way book that I mentioned at the beginning of the speech. It's called Crochet Your Way. It was written by Gloria Tracy, and it was published in 2002. So we have discussed, again, just to reiterate, we've discussed the type of yarns and hooks you use, and how to determine which yarn to use with which hook. I showed you a small crochet sample of the half double crochet, and a little trick to chaining and doing your first row at the same time, and also showed you the finished product and gave you some tips. Now that you have seen my demonstration, why not try to crochet while watching TV using these tips and see if you can actually crochet with your eyes closed. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.